Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, it's Murray here again. For this video we're going to do a bit of a day on the steam engine. We'll do some running shots later on when we get it steamed up. It's been kindly got out for us by our mechanical engineer, chief mechanical engineer, because we've got here a little bit later than we anticipated. So you see it sitting here at the moment, and there's Matthew just coming outdoor. He's on the crew with me today. We're going to quickly rod out the tubes. I'll take you through the firing out process and show you around the engine, and then, like I say, later on we'll see some shots in action from in the cab as we proceed on through the day. What Robert's doing here is he's laying out the air line up to the compressor, which you see just in the distance there. Because this engine is oil fired, it's not a run on coal, it's run on diesel. It's still a steam engine, it makes steam and produce traction, but instead of using coal for the fire we use oil. So the way the injectors inject fuel into the boiler is through steam, but we haven't got any steam at the moment because the engine's cold, so we use compressed air to start with, and that's what he's just hooking up to. I don't know if you can see very well, but what we're doing here is young Josh is rodding out the tubes for us. Got a little light in there, just a light one because it only did 6 trips last week. But this just pushes all the soot out of the tubes and into the firebox, which will blow out later on. You usually do this at least before every running day, and you've got to get right in there, push it right through to the back, to get all the soot out. Okay, so this is the light procedure. Matthew's turning on a bit of blower, which will force some air down the tubes and clean any rubbish out. And then he's got his hands on the atomizer control, which will turn the fuel into a fire mist and blow out the red ones are the fuel control. We've got a nice wick here which is just going to light. So in we go. He's going to hold that down there just by the burners, switch the fuel on. Now lit up, so that will start to make steam. Up here on the pressure gauge, the main one, we haven't actually got anything at the moment, but in a couple of hours we'll have from 0 up to that red line at 180 psi. I'm now going to take you on a bit of a walk around the engine, show you what's what. Mad Bess is a 240 saddle tank with tender. For those of you not in the know of steam engines, the wheel arrangement 240 means it's got two-wheel pony truck at the front, 4 driving wheels in the centre, and 0, usually bigger engines have another pony truck just underneath the cab there where the brake equipment is, but we don't have that. So we've got basically 4 main driving wheels and the tender. The tender here is split into 2 parts. In here is the water. That's the water for the back. We've got 2 storages of water, one at the front, one at the back. That's the tender water, and it's a split level tank because, put that back on. Over here, this other one in the middle, that's where the fuel goes. So that's all diesel fuel in there, and we use about 100 litres a day on a running day. Today we'll be doing 6 trips, so that's the diesel fuel, and that'll last us the whole day. We'll have to fill that up towards the end. Come round now on the outside. I'll do the cab in a minute. That's previously mentioned. 2 crank there, that's where the driving wheels are. We've got a little rod up to the gear linkage here, and this is the, move that out of the way, this is the lubricator, which lubricates various internal movable parts that you can't get to when you oil round. 2 rods. You've got the main drive rod from the pistons, which is the diagonal one, red diagonal one down the centre of the picture, and then the connecting rod between the 2 wheels, which allows you all-wheel drive at the bottom there. Move round to the slide bar, cylinders. The white wheel underneath there is the pony truck at the front. Come round the front. Front of the engine, smoke box door, which I've just done up, chimney. on the side here, this side is the air pump. It's a Westinghouse air pump, or donkey pump as it's known, run by steam when we get steam up, and that produces air for the brakes. Similar around the other side. Move this up. Same wheel arrangement, slide bar. You can see on top the springs for the suspension on the driving wheels. That there is the top injector, which forces water from the tanks into the boiler. And we've got two injectors, one there and one down just underneath there, which I'll show you more detail when we get around in the cab. There we go, he's just pointing out for me, that's good. And the other bits, the little handle with the little outshoot there, which Matthew could point to me for, that is our main blowdown valve. In the event we need to get rid of steam out quickly out of the boiler, that is a direct hole to the boiler. As soon as you open that valve, it will jet steam out and you could blow the whole engine down as quick as you like. I did say it's got two tanks full of water, the one on the back of the tender, and this whole one here, which I'm just touching, that's the saddle tank, so that sits over the top. We've got the dome on the top and the safety valves, so that if we create too much steam, the safety valves will lift and allow steam out so that we don't blow the engine up. And obviously everybody's favourite bit is the whistles, and we've got two whistles, a large one and a smaller one. They've got two different pictures on them, and obviously they're also run by steam. So a lot of this equipment are run on steam, so we've got none at the moment. As I say, it's now at the moment firing up, and we'll go into the cab, which I'll go in the other side. Facing back in the tender, this is where we sit. The driver's seat's there. We've got a portable battery charger on the moment because we need battery to run the air fuel pump and the radio. The radio's in the corner there on the right hand side. Battery that's being charged in the middle. Fire extinguisher on the left hand side. We've also got, at the side of that, we've got isolation switches for the pump and the main electrics. Down the side there, that valve is the main fuel shut-off valve, comes out the tank at the back, flows down through a filter into the pump, which is down in the footwell, and that's what pumps it through that line, through the connections and into the burners, which are right down at the bottom there underneath. You can see it glowing at the bottom there. We've also got a handbrake, which is currently on. We've got no air to hold the brakes on, so we've got a manual handbrake. And as I get into the cab, it's a bit tight in here, but this is a view from the fireman's side, and I'm pointing towards the driver's side. So the big wheel at the bottom, that is your reverser. That's for making the engine go forward or backwards, and it's currently got an indicator to say it's in mid-gear there at the moment. Driver's brake valve for the air brakes. Up here, that is the cylinder drain cocks, which will shut the cylinder drain cocks. We start with them open when we start running, let a bit of steam expel, and then shut them to give us full motion on the pistons. And it also allows the excess water and dirt out of the cylinders. That's the brake gauge for the air brakes. Red is for the main reservoir pressure, and white is for the train brake, which is at 0. And then we've got up the top here, we've got various gauges and shut-off valves. One in the corner there is just the air shut-off for allowing air into the system when we're charging up on air, as we are now. We've got the two gauges. The main one in the middle is your main pressure gauge for your steam. That's what the steam pressure in the loco is currently at 0 at the moment, because we're just getting the loco heated up. But usually that runs between about 120, 180 when we're working, and that supplies steam to all the parts that need it for driving the engine. The other one on the left hand side is the cylinder pressure, which is basically like your accelerator. It tells you how much steam you put in cylinders to give you tractive effort. The 3 cocks at the bottom here, to your very left hand side, is the air pump on and off, which just allows steam down to operate the air pump. These two here are the injector steam valves that allow steam into the injector combined with the water to put engine in the boiler. That's your blower there. Yeah, come around the side, small green one there, that's the manifold drain that just allows a little bit of We have that just cracked open sometimes just to allow excess water out the manifold. The main steam shut-off valve is the big one there, and at the back is the whistle shut-off valve, and just up the top there, that is the shut-off valve for the atomizer. So that when we use steam to atomize the fuel, we can shut off for maintenance. As previously mentioned down the bottom here, there are our fuel and atomizer controls. The top green ones are for the left hand and right hand burners, and they're the atomizers that atomize the steam, and the bottom ones are the actual fuel control. So we mix the two together to make instant spray diesel, which ignites instantly. And then you've got two gauges. We only generally run on the left hand burner, so with the left hand gauge is to show how much steam you're putting into the atomizer. In the middle, two sight gauges, that shows us what water is in there. You can see it's about 3/4 full, and they should both read the same. They are about the same. We have two of most things on here, two injectors, two sight glasses, because if one breaks you need to carry on. You can't run without them. They're obviously vitally important to keep water in the steam engine. Main thing in the middle, big round handle, that's the regulator. That's like an accelerator on a car. We open and shut that to obviously allow steam down to the cylinders and drive the engine forward or backwards. And then just up above us in the cab here is our buzzer system for talking to the garden. That's not on at the moment because we haven't switched it on. So yeah, that's a general view of the steam engine, and hopefully you'll see some footage later when we're on the move. Here we are, Matthew, while we're waiting for steam up, Matthew's oiling round. There's various oil pots and little oil holes in around the engine that he has to go around and do. Some are easily accessible, like on the outside here, and some are not so accessible inside the motion, which he's got to get into. And now I'll try and sort of show you where, but I can't. Yeah, it's very difficult, you see. But there's one there. Sometimes you have to just spray a bit of oil around the whole thing and hope some goes in the hole. Not technically, but Matthew's an expert, so he's got it done. So he's doing the inside motion at the moment. And to show you closer up, you can see on the outside here, look, see the little hole there, and it's full of oil. And these ones on the outside here, we have to do sort of every couple of trips or half the day. Just keep checking them in the oil pot here. It's nice and full. The slide bar. He's also chucked a bit on there just to help it along. But it's not an easy job, and it's not a clean job, but it's necessary to oil around all the working parts of the engine on a regular basis to keep everything going. Otherwise, the engine will just seize up. Little update on the steam progress. We've been running about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and we're up to 70 pounds on the main steam pressure gauge. We've just done the relight because we have to shut off everything off and relight to swap over to steam pressure. So now we've disconnected all the pipe work that was in there for the air compressor, and we're now running on steam pressure. So we've got to build up to, well, we like to get up to full pressure and blow off, test the safety valves and test the injectors. So we've got to get up to that red mark, and then we've already put the coaches in the station, and then we'll get the engine around and put the normal coaches in the station. As you can see, we've just put the engine round on the train, ready for the day's service. We're now at full pressure, very near the red mark, and you can probably hear in the background if I go outside. You can just see there the old steam valves lifting nicely, which is allowing excess steam pressure out. That will get worse, but that's enough to test them. And we'll also need to test the injectors for the water, just to make sure that they work. So you've got some water dripping out there, and Matthew's in the cab. you go. No water coming out, means there's water going in the boiler. That's the bottom one, and in a second he'll test the top one, which is on the side of the engine here. Same principle, let the water run through, turn the steam on, there you go, pick it up, and there we go. That now means water is being injected via steam into the boiler. over the points at Eleanor's north. As we're running down the other side of the bank, we're down the hill now. Pressure's right low on the atomizer. The fuel's turned to, well, nearly off, but not quite off. The little mark down there, that little tag tells us where the actual fuel setting is. And we're actually, at the moment, putting water in the boiler. I don't know if you can see. It's sunny in here. See the water level going up and down. I'm putting water in at the moment. As the engine jerks about, we will be, the water level does go up and down. And of course we're using pressure on the boiler, so we're down to about 100, below 150 there with the boiler pressure. way back now, guys. We're just shutting off to roll down towards Hayshill level crossing. You can see the pressure's built up a bit. That's just been used from Willow Lawn to where we are now. And we'll roll all the way through Hayshill and then have to climb the bank up to Eleanor's, the other side. Matthew's just feathering the regulator there, just to keep a bit of steam on, because we're on a bit of an S bend. That was for the whistle ward for the crossing, which we're coming up to now. There's the whistle ward. Just keeps a little bit of power on round here to keep the train moving. Hayshill now, and Matthew's opening the regulator and turning off the steam for the injector. We just put some water in as we went through Hayshill, and you'll see him in a minute. Just fiddling about with some various controls. And there we go. That's a buzz from the guard, and we'll be heading up the bank now. You can see how much he's putting in regulator wise. Quite a lot. You can hear the exhaust on the engine. I'm trying to talk loud because it's quite loud in here. And we're climbing up. Bank at Eleanor's. Matthew's just shut off now, and he's just putting some more water in. He's actually doing a lot of my jobs for me because I'm trying to film as we're going along. So this is the last trip, and the last thing we have to do before we go back is fuel the engine. So that's probably what's going to be about 80 litres of diesel going in the tank there, which Matthew's just doing. We use quite a lot of diesel per day. But, like I say, between 80 and 100 litres. So what you just saw outside the workshop was a blowdown. It drops the pressure and blows any particles, dirt that's gathered in the bottom of the boiler, and helps to keep the boiler clean. So we blow that out at the end of each day just to help keep cleanliness. Now back into the shed, which is the final resting place for tonight. And we've got to do things like shut off valves, shut the whistle valves, blow the air tanks down from the brakes, make sure everything's safe, put its tin hat on, cover it over, and that's the end of the day's work for this engine until we do it all again next time. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one.